Hello, hello. So today we're going to be talking about the January 18th update detail. As always, I'm going to go in the fast version. If you want a specific thing, just skip to that image, and then I'm going to go and do it in detail. First thing, new dark player, the equivalent of a dark Elaine. We got a superb boss, and it's been added, so you can await it to be in the following month. A few rumors have already started. It might be in 2 weeks, not this weekend, by next weekend. Again, we're waiting confirmation. Alios EE making her even more broken and extremely powerful in club matches. Haru EE, a disappointment. Some really weird art minions being added, and LC is the next one. Ugly skins were added, and basically a few changes. Kuro buff. Anna L, I consider it a nerf, but they say it's a revamp. We're gonna agree to disagree. Utility Striker modification has been added. And a really cool thing is Korean Selena has been balanced and has now the option of giving it an additional player, especially for high farm players. This is really cool. And a bunch of fixes. You can go down the list yourself if you want to check for something specific. On top of it, some are device specific. So I'm going to go back to what's important. So now I'm going to start the official part. If that's all you wanted to know, you can skip or go to whatever page you like. So January 18th update details. There's a new dark player who's basically the equivalent of a Dark Elaine. And I personally think she has, compared to my Milky Way, well, more potential, and I might be replacing Milky Way with her as much as I love Milky Way. The time has come if she's as good performer as I think she can be if I set her up correctly. So Armel is a dark player. I would really advise dark players to get her. Her ace is attack bar and penetration. She's the fourth player in game possessing this and is the only mono dark one. The other two are Thunder and one is Ardor. Active, designate the enemy within the position, deal 0.2 life damage over 12 seconds, and increase the damage the target receives by 20% for 10 minutes. The damage is actually really not that strong. It basically evaluates to, I think, around 12 or 13%. But then since it takes 10 minutes to affect, they also regenerate. There's a chance to have a form of healing. It's really not worth mentioning. It's cool. It's there. But unless you're like in a CO... No, in COD they have very high regeneration. I guess PvP against something that doesn't have healing or like a Jin that doesn't have star tier, that could be cool. But what's also cool is they have increased damage for 20%. And we know that this is going to be buffed on EE. So she has huge potential there. Increased reflex and critical rate of allies within the position for 10 minutes. If anyone remember the good old Milky Way days, that's pretty much what it was. Then passive 2, 1000 Shades of Torture 2, increased penetration 20% and action speed 20% of allies within position. So again, like I'm saying, this kind of beats Milky Way because Milky Way needs 3 stacks for this to work. And I mean, Vanchi has a cap on top of it. So penetration 20%, action speed 20%. That's extremely powerful for a Ravian front or for a few other fronts that are kind of slow. It gives them a little edge. Plus, you gave them more critical rate and reflex and helps stack easier. Because you don't actually need a stack to stack. It is a line buff, it's just permanently on. Passive 3, decrease incoming damage by 30% with a steal or when being attacked. Of course, we know this is a leader, meaning she's not actually going to attack herself. So it's always going to be activated, who's also pretty damn good. And recover 20% of the life first. Now, sadly, 1000 Shades of Torture will not be buffed because it's a level 2 Sadistics Eye Eater. So the question is, will Eruption of Lust be buffed? I'm personally think that's what's going to be buffed. But if New World were to be buffed and making her one of the tankiest leaders in frontline, maybe not reflex-wise, but survival-wise, they could also be very interesting. A new Super Thunder boss has been added. We already had a lot of previews about her when they announced a 7th patch and a few notes on that. So we knew she was coming. It's not a new mystery. Her ace is increased passive effect and action speed of leaders and assister. She's a leader assister kind of buffer. So she's going to be really good for COT. Especially some of the 5-star because she's going to help with some of the conditions. Active, decreased action speed and defense, enemy team 15 minutes. That's just really bad. I mean, look at Cynthia. Look at Bill. Look at a bunch of Thunder players. This is an insult. Passive 1, service of last 7, increased reflex of assisters within ally team by 20%, and always start the match at 5% action bar. It's honestly the first time we've seen an action bar buffing unit for someone who's not on the line or directly related to it, who's pretty cool. And let's be honest, we usually want those passers to be able to do it. So especially dual passer fronts or stuff like that in PvE can have a lot of potential. Again, with her kit, I would not advise running her in PvP unless she gets an E and somehow gets viable. Passive 2, through service 2, increase counterattack resistance of ally team leader and striker by 10% and decrease incoming damage. So again, a striker doesn't care about those things, but for a leader, it's actually pretty damn strong, especially for those mid-leader fronts. There's some nice value. Giving a 15% DR to all leaders is cool and powerful. Soul Guidance, recover 30% of lost life first, and reflex by 30%, so that's really badly written. I'm just going to consider that it's her life when she attacks or when she's being attacked. Again, not totally clear, so I can't really say. Alios, well, we all knew it was coming, just we didn't think it would come with action bar. Fate of Immortal, recover 10% life within 3 minutes, and attack power is 10.5. Now it's 15%, but of the lost life. So I know that it sounds like a good deal, but they've actually lost on the recovery, because 10% of life compared to lost life is much less powerful, as a lot of people have noticed when they've seen Shu when the team is close to full than when the team is close to dead. So in a way, they did nerf a little bit the healing, but again, if you're in a tight spot, it can still be powerful, but they do give in exchange some action bar and some attack power. So they're really trying to emphasize her value more in a front line than in a back line, actually. Again, the action bar is capped at 80% to stop a few cheese comps, but let's be honest, there's so many players who can generate action bar in a team, and I'm not even going to talk about the 5,000 midline legends who can do it, so you shouldn't have an issue just being at 100% when you show up, or at least being fast enough to pull off every active you got up there and try to wreck them. So I mean, it's okay, but I gotta say, it's kind of like a little ass move to say lost life. Like, just add the lost. It looks like a huge buff, but it isn't. Denharu, I mean, he was okay in the old days. All they did was they gave him 5% crit rate and 50% action speed with a stat buff, so that's not bad. We don't know how much for the stats specifically. Again, he doesn't really fit in the current meta, but he does have an interesting kit. The speed allows him to now try maybe some different comps. So we're going to wait and see how the Thunder players build him. Again, I'm not that knowledgeable about Thunder specifically, but it doesn't feel like the buff I feel he should have needed. Now, this is what I honestly want to rank the worst art I've seen in this game since the day we saw the Tramp Komori skin. And that was really bad. Anyone knows what I'm talking about, that April Fool event. So pretty much you're saying Elise is coming, this is her new stuff. I don't even want to get into it. So here we got the new skins. I know a lot of people got extremely pissed at the fact that we're getting a Muspel skin. I mean, even as a light user, I don't want a Muspel skin because no one uses it. If you want to give a skin to a player who I've never seen in PvP, and I might see twice in COD the entire ride, it kind of says something. Don't give him a skin. No one cares. Okay, then we got Evelyn, Wormwood. I totally agree with that one. And Oros is actually damn good. So there's no big issue there, but it's just a Muspel. Like, why? Why would you do this to us? Now, looking at the draws, fast version is the first week is a very PvP week to draw because there's Vonji, there's Alios. Everyone else is pretty easy to get. Armel Dark, also if you're Mono Dark, that's the week you want to draw. I'm also going to try get her just because that kit sounds interesting and I want to try out a few PvE comps with her. Maybe finally get rid of Elaine because as everyone know, I just don't want to use her. Doesn't change the fact that I have her build 160, level 60, and I might even 7-star her. But if I can get someone else to do the job because I have a Vonchi, this would be better. And in the following week, we have Kyoka, Freya, Evelyn, Cheetos, Oros, Celestia, Geo. Fast version, this is the exact definition of a PvE week because, well, they're all like PvE-oriented, the good players that you can only get. Again, I only really care about the players that you can get easily from Scout, who is Kyoko, Celestia, and Jiho. So Kyoko is for Ardor. We're again waiting to see exactly how her skills change. So we can judge 100%, but I have seen some people use her quite well, and she has great potential. We just need to hope that BB is not going to fuck it up like they do pretty often. Ceresia, well, I mean, the fact that there's so many people at 55 now is because of her magic suicide bomber comp. So let's be honest, it's worth getting. And Jiho and the line penetration thing, again, very powerful. Now, it depends how you run them, but they got just great PvE value. PvP, I mean, Ceresia can be run in PvP, Jiho too, but they just don't shine as much. That's the only issue, because there's a lot of counters there. And PvP people heal. So, yeah. And they got penetration resistance as the two counters to that right there. So, 4 match has been added. I've already heard a bunch of rumors. It's coming in 2 weeks. Not this weekend, but next weekend, near I think the 26th, 27th. Again, wait for confirmation from BB, but that's what people were talking about on the Discord. Elise will be added. Now, cool thing is, Damon is now a new start. There's going to be a lot of stuff here, so I'm not going to talk about everything. If a player's chain has been unlocked that is not in your possession, they're going to tell you. They're also going to change the inventory menu. They're going to give you some more notification. Sadly, more pop-ups might appear. A cool thing now is if you're doing forward or long pass, you have the option to cancel it. I know this is mostly for PV, well, just manual, let's be honest, where you're trying to do a long pass and you just can't remember who on your team actually holds the spirit. And I know this has happened to me a bunch of times before, so I'm happy this has finally been implemented. And it's not that hard to do. The utility NER has finally been added. I run Vonchi, I don't care. I gen enough spirit, but I mean, for all the other guys, good luck. You just died a little bit there. Curl, basically, they've buffed a little bit his damage by stealing attack power. The idea is just like this. He takes a little bit less damage, and we're sure he pushes in. It honestly makes no big difference. It's like kind of neglectable. So don't even need to care about this. It's fine. NL, they did a revamp. I don't actually agree. Attack power and counterattack resistance of allies within the position. Increase the defense and counterattack resistance of allies within the position. It's not really a buff. If it was life, then I would say she'd become viable. But defense, seriously, I mean, we're not PvE. We don't have insane defense values. It's just not that great. And Holy Punishment, attack power, crit rate, reflex, 30% of an attack. Increase attack power, action speed, and critical rate. Reflex part was kind of important since she's an active stealer in backline. But okay, let's take that away. I do want to point out it's no longer written with an attack, so when being attacked, it still applies, who is kind of cool. I do not really consider this a buff either, but I kind of even see this as a nerf, but it really depends how you were using her, where you were using her. So it's not really a big issue. They're still talking about that the spirit story. Stay tuned. I got a bad feeling because, as we all know, the 7-star update, we can just spam actives, especially if we got some good spirit generators. So we'll see exactly how they'll mess that up. A cool change has been Korean Selena is no longer trash, giving us XP, but now it gives us the same gold and 10% chance for an additional spirit stone. I'm guessing that the 20% more gold when you win is the same as reward. If not, it again still doesn't make a big difference, but it should basically be the same. The only big difference possible for this would be in League, because a lot of us like to just do it. When we see the reward, we go back, we switch our managers, and we can get 120, 130Ks. Again, you got to be Champion League to know what we're talking about, but it's when you already see 75,000 as an option, you're like, okay, well, the buff of my club, the buff of my manager, the buff of this, the buff of that, I can just bring it up, and let's keep going. That's also a really good way to get some extra gold. A bunch of changes have been added. Now, there's a lot of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. Just go slowly down the list. There was some logging issues, some Balteon issues, some Balteon skins not working correctly. A lot of stuff has been fixed up. Just check out if it works for you. There's even some device-specific ones. So just slowly check it out. And the only real thing is Shu's passive is for Leshen. When Shu makes a move online, the only issue was he was able to move to the left, heal himself, and then get the ball back to himself. It was kind of ridiculous. So that's actually been fine. So yeah, we're good with that. So I hope this gives you an idea on what happened during this patch. If you have any opinions, comment, or you'd like to request a review, I've gotten a few requests today, so I'm also going to be posting those after, so stay tuned. Have a good day, guys.